You know the Iron Sheik, right?
Sure,
Kaz, right?
yeah.
So Kaz was an Olympic caliber wrestler, right? From Iran. Mm-hmm. And freestyle, and that's where you had to try to turn the guy over, right? It's different than folk style. So Billy could never turn him over. So Billy said, get in a folk style position. So he got, well, I guess, and Billy dropped his knee right here into his thigh. He couldn't walk for a month. So bad. Then slapped him around and all that. We went through some crazy shit to get in the business back then.
Who was the first guy that hit somebody with a chair? That's what I mean. The steel chair thing to me is one of the most unbelievable because I know how many times you were doing that in a week. Like, who was the first guy to do that?
I don't know. God.
Yeah, I don't know that one. That was
nobody's ever used it quite as effectively as Brock. Though Brock is taking the chair shots to a new level.
It was probably at the first thing because there was steel chairs there for the crowd, so it's probably been forever.
Yeah, just for very rarely. Like in St. Louis, which was our home base, you couldn't even grab the rope like you're cheating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm
wrestling Dick the Bruiser, right? And I go to Sam. Dick was like 56 or something. Became a champion. Said, Sam, let me just grab the rope so Dick could put his shoulders down. Oh no! This is when Wilbur Snyder's winning with the abdominal stretch. Or Vern's winning with the sleeper. I mean, none of that.
Right.
That's all. But St. Louis loved it. They had never saw anything else but,
So why weren't you allowed to grab the rope?
Because in St. Louis, it was against the rules. And Sam ran St. Louis like everything with the rules. You know what I mean?
The rope grab in pro wrestling means that you can leverage. You're getting extra power, extra leverage.
I'm doing it behind the referee's back.
Yeah, anybody who has someone in a submission, and if you grab the rope, especially in a figure 4 leg lock, in fact, the other person is more hurt.
Forces their shoulders down, more pressure.
And the ref stops them. It's kind of the equivalent to grabbing the octagon fencing, but. It's more entertaining, I guess. I don't know how to say it. There's more magic involved.
When you first saw the UFC, did you think that if you were a young man, you would have participated in that?
Well, it's funny you said that. I'm really good friends with Shamrock, right? So I'm with Jim Brown, the football player. And the first time Gracie wrestled Shamrock was in Charlotte, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. This was probably long before you got involved.
Yeah, it was.
And I went, and the thing, Gracie laying on his back, I said, this is bullshit, man. I'm not going back to this. I'm so glad they changed the rules because they'd sit that damn hold. Now the guys can't do that. And it's a lot more action. But watching Gracie and those guys with that Gracie lock, that was the most boring shit in the world. No shit.
That's hilarious. Like watching him operate from his guard.
What's there to watch?
Right.
I just saw Kenny last month. I love Ken Shamrock.
Well, he was one of the first guys to be a legit fighter that went over to WWE.
Yeah.
It was WWE at the time or WWF?
WWE.
WWE.
No. How old is Ken?
Ken's got to be
close.
57, maybe? How old is Ken Shamrock? He was the world's most dangerous man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was the first, legit guy to make it over there.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that was at the time. He had been going back and forth, and that was in the middle of his, kind of in his prime, right? I mean,
he's a tough guy, though, right?
Yeah.
But
The Rock versus Ken Shamrock, 1998.
He could work.
Yeah. Dude, he definitely could work. He was fucking jacked too.
Yeah.
I mean, Ken Shamrock in his day was a bad man.
Well, you would say he was, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was a real pioneer. Yeah. What Shamrock did in those early days, I mean, when he ran the Lion's Den, that was one of the big things about the Lion's Den was the conditioning was fucking ruthless. They tried to break guys.
Yeah.
If you wanted to train in that gym, they tried to break you. It was legendary strength and conditioning routines.
Yeah.
You had a whole crucible you had to go through to become a member.
Yeah, he treats me with a lot of respect. He's a real nice guy.
And I feel like it could have been really different, his rivalry with Gracie, if Gracie wasn't in the gi, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been different. But also, Gracie was at another level,
Right.
jiu-jitsu wise.
Yeah.
People just didn't understand Brazilian jiu-jitsu like those guys did.
Right.
So even guys who had like good submissions, they didn't understand vulnerable positions. They didn't, and the gi is so like everybody would grab it. Like when Gracie would get a hold of you, everybody would grab the gi, and that would play right into his hands. The next thing you know, he's just pulling you on top of him and stretching your arm out. Did you ever think that, like when you were a young man, if that was around, that you would have done it?
No, I never considered it. I don't know. I was already so wrapped up in wrestling, I didn't think about it. But I've always had a lot of respect for the people that do.
Only a few guys have ventured. CM Punk was the one who took the most chances, right? Because he didn't really have a martial arts background.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was bad for everybody.
I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched him hit the pads, and I'm like, there's no way.
Oh yeah.
There's no way. There's nothing there.
Yeah, there is no, I'm going to do this with all my heart.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in there.
I never saw him. He got killed, right?
He got fucked up a couple of times.
Oh,
He fought this kid, Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall ran over him like a freight train. And then he fought, I think, Mike Jackson. Mike Jackson just kind of pieced him up but didn't stop him. But he just wasn't good enough. It's just so hard to do that in your 30s, to learn how to do MMA in your 30s when you don't really. I mean, he had a background. You gotta pee. He had a background. He's gonna take a leak. He had a background in pro wrestling, but he didn't really have a background in martial arts. So, I mean, I admire the fact that he was willing to take the challenge.
That's what I admire too.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta have halfway crazy to do that anyway.
Yes, for sure. He did do it the right way. He went to Rufus Sport, which is like an elite, top quality MMA gym. He trained with world class guys. It just takes so long to acquire those skills, and if in certain skills with certain body types, if you don't learn how to strike when you're really young, it's very it's depending upon the person. Some people could pick it up in their 30s, but with a lot of guys, if they don't learn how to strike when they're young, they just don't have that speed and ability. They just.
What do you think would have happened if Brock would have started right away?
He would have been a world like elite, greatest of all time.
Yeah.
If someone taught Brock Muay Thai and submission moves when he was a kid, and he went into MMA with his kind of physicality, he would have dominated.
Yeah.
He would have dominated.
Yeah.